views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
Hey everyone, I'm the Dr. Bob Lee. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You're always welcome. You're always invited to the party. All right, we've got another fantastic show for you. You are watching Open BX RX. Coming up on today's show, whoa, we've got it going on for you. We'll hear from a mother who has found a way to positively contribute to youth sports after suffering a tragic loss. After that, we'll check in with a holistic lifestyle coach to learn about how she is helping other women reclaim their time and waistlines. And then we'll go down south to highlight how a relationship therapist is keeping families together. Bobby C is here with the latest in the world of sports. And then finally, we'll speak to a medical professional about the importance of our healthcare department and highlight the work that they are doing in our community. All of this and more, all coming your way right here on Open. Hey everyone, of the Dr. Bob Lee. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You know, you're always welcome. I'm your host, and you're watching Open. It's that live interactive program that brings the Bronx and New York City straight to your TV set. You stay connected to us through social media at BronxNet TV. Leading things off, our first guest is the founder and president of the Dominic A. Murray 21 Memorial Foundation. She joins us today to reflect on how she has kept her son's memory alive through the foundation. And she's also going to highlight the importance of heart health awareness in our youth. So please welcome to the show, Melinda Murray-Nyack. Melinda, welcome. How are you?
Thank you, Dr. Bob Lee. Thank you for the opportunity to be on your show and to spend time with you this morning. I appreciate it.
I had a wonderful time spent with you out in Long Island, and we learned so much. I mean, I still have the book right here.
That's right.
Things that you guys are doing, working together with the doctors of St. Francis Hospital. Just to brief everybody as to why you started your organization, give us a little history.
Well, my story began in 2006 when I first lost my husband to a massive heart attack, unexpected. And then 3 years later, our only child, Dominic, collapsed on a basketball court at Farmingdale State College. He was only 17 years old. And when he collapsed, no one knew what to do right away. No one started CPR right away. No one got the AD that was right outside of the gym door to initiate that, immediate shock to restart his heart. And the reason why they didn't do that is because they didn't recognize the signs, and they wouldn't really come to the conclusion that someone as young and vibrant as Dominic would have collapsed that had something dealing with his heart. And that's the tragedy. But when his autopsy was performed, that's when his congenital heart condition was revealed. And it wasn't until after his death, when it was too late, that his underlying condition was revealed. And my son was healthy. He was seemingly healthy.
Well, he went through sports. He passed all the exams that he was supposed to pass. But we didn't know he had an underlying situation. Is that right?
That's right. He was diagnosed healthy at every well child visit, and he passed every pre-participation sports physical.
And he was going for a layup. How did it happen?
He was attempting a routine layup. So, he was like mid making that layup, and his heart suddenly stopped and he collapsed on the court. So he started gasping, exhibiting seizure-like symptoms. And so no one recognized that those are signs of a sudden cardiac arrest. I didn't know that until I learned later on what the signs were.
And now you started an organization, a foundation, Dom Heart 21. Tell us about it.
So Dom Heart 21, of course, is named after Dominic. 21 was his jersey number from the time he played CYO, AAU, varsity, and that was going to be his number at Farmingdale State. So that's the significance of number 21 in Dom Heart 21. And what we do is we provide youth heart screenings. We screen young hearts for children, teens, and young adults, ages 12 to 25. That's the age range that we screen hearts. We provide also CPR AED training in all communities, wherever young people and people of all ages live, learn, and play, no matter where they live, because that's important. And we place life-saving AEDs. Without the AED, there's no way to restart that heart. CPR can go but so far. But
and AED stands for?
AED stands for Automated External Defibrillator. It's a smart machine. You just turn it on and you follow the steps, but it's a life-saving machine.
It's
And
like what's seen on TV when you're trying to save somebody's life. All right, clear.
Well, that's what's seen on Baywatch. Now I've aged myself, but on Baywatch, I mean, I used to watch it too, like, wow, you could do it on water, on a, you know, that little surfboard, but no. So those are the heavy duty machines that are like in the hospital setting. But we can place a life-saving device in common lay people's hands, like you and myself, and it's a sleek, smart device. You turn it on. It's safe to use because it will only shock you if it detects that your heart needs a shock. So anyone can handle an AED.
Yeah. And you give great instructions too. I mean, the young lady that you had, the doctor that you had there from St. Francis Hospital, you did, your whole team really put it together. I was in one of the classes, ladies and gentlemen.
And you did amazing. You were amazing. Quick learner, and it's, as you can attest, it's easy to learn how to save a life. Anyone can learn how to save a life.
Yes. So, and you have legislation passed. How did that take place?
Well, it took over a decade, but the Dominic Murray Sudden Cardiac Arrest Prevention Act, also known as Dominic's Law, was finally signed into law on October 25th, 2021, during the anniversary month of Dominic's passing, 13 years after he passed away. 13 years legislating, advocating to make sure that children are safe in schools, finally passed. And it impacts, it's a game changer that impacts all New York State schools, public and non-public. And it's going to save lives, thousands of lives.
Yeah. So when you say call 911 in an emergency and you have somebody go get the AED, that school or that place should have it.
Yes, all New York State schools are required to have AEDs. The significance of this legislation is that now, and never before had this happened, now in New York State, as part of every pre-participation sports physical, every permission slip to participate in gym, physical education, all parents will receive information, a package with information on sudden cardiac arrest, its signs, symptoms, risk, and prevention. They'll sign off on that saying that they understand, that knowing their child's family history and knowing what SCA is. SCA is acronym for sudden cardiac arrest. They now have become aware. Coaches and teaching staff will be trained on how to recognize the signs of sudden cardiac arrest and know the risk and the prevention. And they're also mandating that a plan be put in place to react to these occurrences, excuse me.
Yeah.
And if a child exhibits these signs while in play, they are removed from participation until they are seen by a cardiologist and cleared. Never before has that happened in New York State. In other states, they're starting to get it and they're starting to implement such measures. But this took over a decade and there's no additional cost that goes into this. It was no funding, that extra funding that was needed.
Yeah.
And it involves the Commissioner of Health, New York State Commissioner of Health, and New York State Commissioner of Education. And we're going to work together to make sure this information is delivered to the parents.
Yeah. And you know what? Your organization has already saved lives. Tell us about it.
Yes. So similar to the CPR training that you went through a few weeks ago, 4 lives have been saved from people who were trained by us. We've trained over 21,000 so far, and 4 lives have been saved, which is really significant. And through our heart screenings, we provide heart screenings for young people twice a year at no cost.
That's excellent. Who's some of the organizations that you work with? I know the Deltas are big.
Well, we work with, the Deltas, and the Deltas are huge. One of our board members, Dr. Sandra Nurse, she is a Delta, as well as our board chair, who resides in North Carolina. She is a Delta. We've worked with Deltas, Elm Corps adult and youth activities here in Queens. My son played basketball over at Elm Corps Gym, and they are huge supporters of our foundation. We partner on many events to bring awareness to the communities. We work with St. Francis Hospital, named to say American Heart Association, Parent Heart Watch, which is a national organization that I actually sit on the board of, Queens Chamber of Commerce. There's so many organizations that we are partnering with, so many to name. And we're bringing the Girl Scouts of Greater New York. There's so many, because they help us extend our mission message. We provide services that help expand our reach. And we're also going to be working with, we're bringing our new partners all the time, and
like
I'll let you reveal that one. I was waiting. I was waiting, saving the best for last, but I want you to reveal that one. I didn't want to steal the thunder. That's why I was like, okay.
No, it's a wonderful thing when you get a group of organizations and people working together.
Yes.
Always moving together in the same direction for a common cause to help others get what they need out of life. I think it's wonderful. Where can we go? You have a website that we can gather more information on you?
Yes, please visit domheart21.org. We're also on social media. Follow us on Twitter. It's easy to follow at domheart21, DOMHEART21. We're doing so much. I'm excited about what we're going to be doing with Make the Great Foundation. We have great things in store, so follow us to hear more about that. It's important that we really go into the Black and Brown communities, because in those communities, the resources and information is not all there yet. And we have that information. We want you to look to us for this information and for these resources and assistance. The majority of student athletes that are afflicted by sudden cardiac arrest are in the Black and Brown communities, not because their hearts are made up of any different, but because of the help and the education in CPR, accessibility to AEDs, and getting provision for youth heart screenings accessible to them. That is what's hurting those communities, and we make it available to them.
Thank you so much, and looking forward to working with you. You do some great things in our community, and that's what we want to partner with. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thing that you're doing. All right, Melinda Murray-Nyack. She's a founding president of the Dominic A. Murray 21 Memorial Foundation. We appreciate you. We love you, and we'll talk to you in a bit.
Thank you.
All right, we'll take a break. More Open coming your way. Welcome back, everybody. I'm the DOCTORBOBLEE. Follow me at Doc Bob Lee, Instagram, all the other platforms, Dr. Bob Lee. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And our next guest, well, she's an entrepreneur, a holistic lifestyle coach, and the founder of the FIDSA Woman program. So watch out. Now, she's here with us today to share how to empower other women with the tools that they need to accomplish their fitness goals and to create a balanced lifestyle at home and at the workplace. So please welcome to the show, Orlandina Balan. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. Orlandina, tell us about your experience as a holistic lifestyle coach and why achieving that lifestyle is so very, very important to you.
For me, as a professional woman, one of the biggest challenges that we have is time and the lack thereof. We're being pulled in so many directions at home, at work, in our communities. And so women tend to pencil themselves at the bottom of their to-do list. So one of the things that I found is when I made my self-care a priority, it led me to so many other things happening in such a positive light in my life. So I wanted to bring that to other women as well. So when you make time for self-care, it just allows you to just do so much more and live, in your purpose.
Yeah, it looks like, you work out, looks like you're in a classroom, you're educating students, and that bell may ring at any moment.
Yes, it does. When it does, if you're on, and I think that's a lot of women, you're on. As soon as your feet hit the floor, you're off and running.
Yeah.
So you've got to balance so many hats. So it's important that we make our health a priority.
Well, like you mentioned, like time is so very, very important. Put everything in its proper place and prioritize. Now, how did FIDSA Women Incorporated get started? And what was the mission of the program?
So the FIDSA Women got started, as you can see, I do work out. I'm an athlete. I'd gotten injured. And
There you go.
But while I was training, I was studying martial arts, I got injured. So I had to sit down for a moment. And I had to ask myself, is this the only thing that's part of fitness? What does it mean to truly be well? And so I said, you know what? It's more than just the physical. It's also your mental, your mindset. It's also the spiritual aspect. So I said, to be well, be fit is not just a physical state of being, but it's your mental state of being, and as well as your spiritual sense, your spiritual wellness. So when I started to put those components together, my mom sat down, she said, God sat you down because he said, you got the physical part down, but what else? And so I started to think about creating a program for other women. And that's where FIDSA Women University was birthed through the we are holistic beings. Women are not just a body. So the program, it accomplishes it because I address all aspects of wellness, the whole woman.
Mind, body, and spirit.
Mind, body, and spirit.
Holistically. Yes, that's what it's all about. Get everything together. You wear many hats as an entrepreneur, a TV host, wait a minute, a producer, and an educator.
Yes.
Can you give us an update on some of the projects that you're currently working on?
So I will tell everybody, I said, my purpose in this life is to teach, whether it be in the classroom, whether it be at the gym, online. My whole purpose is to teach. So I teach about wellness. So on my television show, Muscles and Stilettos, I bring in female entrepreneurs such as myself, and we talk about what it took for them to birth their dreams.
Yeah.
So I love connecting with other women, small business, big business, but women in business in particular, because I want to share with other women that I know that you all have a dream just burning back there. You kind of put it to the side, and what happens when you bring it to the forefront. So that's the platform, Muscles and Stilettos.
Muscles and Stilettos. That's what's up.
No, to show that we are strength, we can be strong and beautiful and sexy all at once. It's not just a masculine thing, as society would like us to believe. Muscles are not just for men, they're for women. We're the ones that birth children, so we're strong.
Yeah, and when you got everything together like that, everything works.
Absolutely.
Well.
Yes. That's the whole idea, to bring a balanced being, a balanced person. So that's why I created FIDSA Women University, because I address that all aspects of women through our fitness program. I have a flat belly, tight booty boot camp, because you want to target those problems.
Wait. Say that again.
Flat belly, tight booty boot camp. Because women belly, tight booty. We want to be sexy. We know we're sexy. So I have that. I have nutrition. I'm bringing in health coaches to address the nutritional aspect of wellness, just all these things. And then bringing women together as a tribe, surrounding you with like-minded people. So that's where I created the fitness event, like the one coming up later this month, my Love in Motion event, where you bring like-minded women together under one roof. It's going to be a girls' night out with a mix and a twist.
Ooh, shucks. What are you gonna have there? What, give us some secrets.
Oh my gosh, we're gonna be dancing salsa. We're gonna be doing some sexy heels. I'm going to be bringing in self-care specialists from different areas. So imagine a girls' night out. They're my kids, fitness, wellness, all in one space,
Ooh, all under one roof, huh?
all under one roof.
That's good. That's excellent. What advice would you give to parents or working people who are looking to get into the mix and try to get into a good workout and get their lives together, mind, body, and spirit?
First, come check me out, thefitterwoman.com. I have all the resources under one roof.
Yeah.
I would tell you, make sure that you put yourself first, whether you're a parent, whether you're a child, take care of this temple. This temple was put on this earth for a purpose. This is a temple. This is not just a body. Because this temple was put here for a purpose, you need to fulfill that purpose. And to make time, reclaim your time, reclaim your waistline.
Health first, me first.
Health first, you come first. Because everything else comes from you. Like, I gotta open the door for my kids. I come first. I gotta make sure I take care of myself.
Yeah.
So I'm here for my students.
Are they
And
knocking on the door already?
They're coming, they're standing. So I gotta go get them.
As soon as that bell rings, right? Where
Yes.
can we go to get more information on what you do and all the things that are coming?
You can find me at thefitterwoman.com. And I'm on IG, The Fitter Woman, and just hit me up, DM me. You'll find me. I love working with people and just helping people to achieve their best and fittest and happiest self.
A quickie before you go.
Yes.
The abs and booty. What are two things that you can do to help straighten that out? Here they come.
I have a flat belly type booty boot camp that you can do from the comfort of your home. So you don't have to go to the gym. Just turn on the camera and go.
Website one more time.
Flat belly type booty boot camp at thefitterwoman.com.
There you go. Orlandina Balan, thank you so much. Do your thing. And we'll meet up with you soon.
See you soon.
All right. We'll take a break. Bye-bye. We'll take a break. We got more coming up next right here on Open. Here they come. Welcome back, everybody. I'm the Doc Bob Lee for 107.5 WBLS. You are watching BronxNet. We appreciate you and love you. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for checking it all out. We are joined by an entrepreneur, relationship therapist, and author who comes to us all the way from North Kakalaki. You still say that, North Carolina. And he's going to speak to us about his career, how it began, and to share some tips on maintaining a healthy and happy relationship. happy wife, happy life. That's what they say. So welcome to the show, Chris Matthews. Chris, welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you, Bob. It's a pleasure to be here.
So I don't know, with all your activities and all the things that you're doing, you've come up with the work that you're doing with relationships as a relationship therapist. Tell us about it. How did it all start for you?
So my story is quite simple. When I was an undergrad, I fell in love. I met my wife. We actually ended up becoming parents a little bit sooner than we expected. So we didn't have that transitional time usually that's given for couples to transition into marriage that was slow. So we end up just figuring out the hard way how to have a healthy relationship.
Yeah.
So we transitioned from dating pretty quickly, parents, and upon graduation, we moved in, got married. And then at some point when I realized we had made it, I said, you know what? I need to figure out a way to go back and help other couples that are young as well. So I ended up going to grad school, getting a master's in marriage and family therapy. And fast forward 16 years later, I'm still with my wife, 13 years married, 3 kids, 2 businesses, and we figured out a way to make it work.
There you go. Is there anything in your childhood that maybe helped solidify some of the things that you're doing in your career today?
Yeah, so in my childhood, I had some really good examples. My grandfather, my great uncle, they were married to their spouses for over 50 plus years of marriage. My mother and father were married for 25 years prior to divorcing. So I was able to see and witness faithful men who believed in taking care of their families, taking care of their community and their environment. And I always try to live my life every day in their footsteps to ensure I'm doing the same.
So there you go. Great examples, right? I mean, the years of marriage. So you saw how they raised you and how they, you guys are, how they raised their grandchildren. They're going to be talking about that too.
That's real. I mean, generational. I have good genes. I always share, the legacy. My grandfather, he was one who was in World War II, Congressional Medal of Honor winner, a Marine, a pastor, a professor. So education was huge in my family, still is to this day. And not just formal education, but educating yourself on topics that may not be taught in school. And that's really what led me to write my book, Finding Your Relationship Fixed, the 4 Reasons Couples Seek Counseling, because in school, they don't really give you any classes on how to have a healthy marriage. I always joke about how when you buy a house, you get all these papers. When you buy a car, you sign your life away. You don't even get a pamphlet when you get married.
You don't get the manual.
You don't get the manual.
You can't go to the glove compartment and say, hey, this is this is the manual for this.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So you have it though. Hold that book up again.
Yeah. Finding Your Relationship Fixed.
What made you want to write that book? Put the pen to the paper.
So after graduating and becoming a practicing clinician who predominantly worked with couples, I realized that there were only 4 reasons why couples were constantly coming in. Now, despite the traditional reasons you would imagine, infidelity or cheating, child care concerns, or commitment issues, or finances, or sex, those were issues, but they actually began to come together under 4 major feelings. And those 4 major feelings were when partners did not feel safe, heard, understood, or cared for. So after looking at some research articles and just thousands of hours of doing the work, I was able to compartmentalize all these reasons into 4 feelings. So from my experiences, I was able to author the book and align with one of my major influences that propelled me into the field, Dr. Gary Chapman. He wrote the book, The 5 Love Languages, which is very popular. And I always wanted to have something simplistic or a model that I could create to help couples. And those 4 feelings are really, the cornerstone of a lot of my work. And I'll do an initial assessment with couples, and I'll say, hey, on a scale from 1 to 10, how safe do you feel? How heard do you feel? Understood, and loved, and cared for? And that's how I initiate the therapeutic process, and we unravel the issues based on those 4 feelings.
So you got to be a good provider. That's one of those 4.
Definitely. And provider, that goes under safety. right?
Yeah.
So anytime you mention a specific issue, I can categorize it under a feeling. If you don't provide beyond just monetary, you have to provide love, support, you have to provide a household, you have to provide patience. So providing is going to be connected to security and safety. I write about in my book how it's a joke, but it's actually true. As I was able to provide more, my partner was able to desire to meet my needs more, and she felt more safe to do so.
Yeah. And then you have to be understanding. You have to be right there and look them in the eye and say, and give them that time,
Mm-hmm. And understanding is a process.
Let's talk about this. Let's talk about
Definitely. Definitely. And it's interesting because the order is actually intentional. If you don't feel safe with a person, then how are you going to be able to hear that individual or have a conversation? If you don't have a conversation and you can't send messages back and forth, then how are you going to ever develop understanding? And if you don't understand that person, how are you truly going to love and care for them? So all four of them do go in a pattern. And as you read the book, it builds upon itself. And you'll be able to see how all four of those feelings come together to create a template for a healthy relationship.
Yeah. Hey, Chris, as a relationship therapist, who do you see the most? What's the problems that they come to you the most? What comes to you? What are they?
Yeah, that's a great question. The main concerns couples are coming in with are usually associated with communication, being able to send and receive messages back and forth. And the other concern is usually going to be safety and security as it relates to if they're in a monogamous relationship or if they're committed, feeling like the partner doesn't have the same values that they share when it comes to interacting with other people. So you're looking at boundaries being breached. Yeah. And those are going to be the three boundary intrusions, which I talk about in my book, infidelity or cheating, and then the ability to communicate and express yourself with your partner in a way that you don't feel attacked or judged, or to reduce the defensiveness. A lot of times partners are defensive. So those are the major issues that I'm seeing in counseling.
Where does trust fit in?
Trust fits in essentially across all of them. And I'll say that in the sense of, if I don't feel safe, or if a partner doesn't feel comfortable with you, then how are they going to trust you? And trust also plays in with action. If you're demonstrating the same action over and over and over, and you know that action hurts your partner, then you're going to leave that relationship or that exchange not trusting that person. So trust really aligns with the process of doing the right actions consistently. And I use the example in the book about how trust is like a bank account.
Yeah.
It adds up equity.
And you can find more about this on your website. You have a website?
Yes. So relationshipcounselingtools.com is the product website. ChrisAMatthews.com is my personal website.
Hey, Chris, thank you so much. And you're always welcome back. All right.
Hey, and thanks for having me.
You're so very welcome. If you're into sports, Bobby C's up next. He has the latest in the world of sports right here on Open.
We built a media network for you.
BronxNet TV.
Come learn in your new state-of-the-art studios at Lehman College.
At Mercy College.
And coming soon to the South Bronx in the Hub.
Inspire with your stories, culture, history.
Your Bronx on BronxNet.
Engage with us.
Connect with us at your channels and at BronxNet.tv.
Learn, engage, inspire. BronxNet TV.
From the Bronx
to the world.
BronxNet.
Few things in life compare to March Madness. All sports championships are inherently great, of course, the highest stakes, but March Madness is just something more. The NCAA tournament is bigger, better, epic, and utterly gripping. A large cast of characters, not just Cinderellas this time of year, and it doesn't always end well for everyone involved. So what takes March Madness to that next level of sport? It's intense and immersive. Nothing begins better than March Madness. The first 2 days of the tournament are a barrage of basketball with multiple games happening all at once. The volume is almost overwhelming. On the first 4 days of the tournament, you are immersed in games, 16 games per day, in fact, many of them taking place simultaneously. The action, pace, and exposure of the first weekend is amazing and mesmerizing. The tourney is unmatched in sports when it comes to the element of surprise, too. Last-second shots happen on a regular basis. See Cardiac Kimba right here. It creates so many memorable moments, a handful of upsets, underdogs, and game-winning threes made at the buzzer. There are schools that you've never heard of before. Every game is a wild card, all connected through a bracket, a piece of pop art that gives every person a stake, a skin, we'll say, in the game. Every game takes on more meaning when you take sides, so in the tradition of surprises, here's our trivia tribute to the bracket and March Madness, filled with Bronx and New York tidbits for your pleasure. A 5-on-5, 10 questions for March Madness glory. Let's play. Question number 1. The ACC tournament was held in New York City for the first time in which year? Is it A, 2015, B, 2017, or C, 2019? The answer here is B, 2017. The event was held in Brooklyn at the Barclays Center, with Duke winning the conference tournament 73-69 against Notre Dame in the title game. Luke Kennard scored 16 points against the Irish and was named Tournament Most Valuable Player. Moving on to question number 2. New York native Lou Alcindor, later known as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in the NBA, won how many Final Four Most Outstanding Player awards during the NCAA tournament? Was it 1, 2, or 3? The answer here for question number 2 is C, 3. The legendary Abdul-Jabbar is the only player in history to win the award 3 times. He did so in 3 consecutive seasons from 67 to 69. The Power Memorial and Rucker Park legend would finish his college career at UCLA with 2,325 points and 1,367 rebounds. A fun final bonus fact, he holds the record for the most career points in the NBA with a staggering 38,387. Praise the Sky Hook. Question number 3. And what year did the Fordham Rams last make the NCAA tournament? Options here are 1992, 1996, or the year 2000. The answer is A, 1992, finishing with an 11-3 record in the Patriot League. Fordham Rams last went dancing 30 years ago. Can you imagine that? That season they entered the Big Dance as the number 14 seed, losing 85-58 to Massachusetts in the opening round. Question 4. Manhattan College last made the NCAA tourney in 2015. What was their tournament seeding that year? Options here are A, 14, B, 15, or C, 16. Answer is C, 16. Manhattan College was a 16 seed playing in a first 4 playing game against fellow 16 seed the Hampton Pirates. The Riverdale squad fell 74-64 and was bounced from the Big Dance, unfortunately. Question number 5 here on this 10 questions for March Madness glory. The first ever National Invitational Tournament was held right here in New York City in what year? A, 1938, B, 1947, or C, 1952? The answer, 1938. The inaugural NIT was held at the world's most famous arena, Madison Square Garden. The Temple University Owls are the first team to take home the crown in the NIT. Question 6. The Big East tournament is held every year at MSG. Which team has the most Big East tourney victories of all time? Georgetown, UConn, or Syracuse? The answer here is A, Georgetown. The Hoyas won the 1980 inaugural tournament under head coach John Thompson. They have a total of 8 Big East tournament victories. Georgetown bookends the tourney, having won the most recent tournament last year in 2021. UConn is second with 7 Big East tournament crowns. Pretty cool. Speaking of UConn, Bronx phenom Kimball Walker led the University of Connecticut to a Big East title, we mentioned that earlier, as well as an NCAA tournament championship. How many points did Kimba score in the NCAA title game? Was it A, 14, B, 16, or C, 18? The answer here is B, 16. In a low-scoring affair versus the Butler Bulldogs, Walker scored a game-high 16 points en route to the Big East Tournament Most Valuable Player, NCAA Final Four MVP, and ultimately brought the NCAA title back to the University of Connecticut. Today, of course, he plays for the Knicks, and he's an NBA veteran. Before his time leading St. John's, head coach Lou Carnesecca was a member of the United States Coast Guard. In which war did he serve? A, World War II, B, the Vietnam War, C, the Korean War. The answer here, World War II. Carnesecca served the Pacific Theater aboard the USS General H.B. Freeman, transporting over 3,000 troops from Calcutta to Okinawa. Simply amazing. Question 9. Who is the only Division I men's basketball head coach to lead 3 different teams to the Final Four? Was it John Calipari, Rick Pitino, or Bobby Knight? You're on the clock. Answer here is B, Rick Pitino. The New York City native, now the head coach in New Rochelle with Iona, has led Providence, Kentucky, and most recently Louisville to the Final Four. Could Iona be his next NCAA conquest? Time will certainly tell. Question 10, our final question. Which player was the first to lead the NBA in both scoring and assists for a season? We have John Stockton, Magic Johnson, or Nate Archibald. Answer here is C, Nate Archibald, also known affectionately as Tiny. The Hall of Famer from the Bronx scored 2,719 points and dished 910 assists during the 72-73 season for the Kansas City Kings. Earlier this year, Archibald was named to the NBA's 75th anniversary team, a much-deserved honor. So, how did you fare in our March Madness trivia game? Hopefully it was the stuff dreams are made of, the kind of performance worthy of dancing. That's your look at sports. I'm Bobby C.
When taking public transportation, don't touch your phone. Carry hand sanitizer and use it immediately upon leaving the bus or train. Avoid touching your face. If someone is coughing or sneezing, move away. Wash your hands with soap and water as soon as possible. Limit contact with poles. If possible, avoid rush hour. Don't eat or drink on public transportation. Keep your bag off the floor or other surfaces. Avoid directly touching turnstiles. Stay up to date with the latest from your local health department and CDC.
back, everybody. I'm the Doc Bob Lee from 107.5 WBLS, and you're watching Open. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for tuning in and checking it all out. Our last guest is a medical director for the Division of Disease Control and the Deputy Commissioner for the Westchester County Department of Health. He sits down with us today to share his thoughts on all the latest developments with COVID-19 and to provide some tips on maintaining healthy habits during the pandemic. So please welcome to the show, Dr. Dial Hewlett. Doctor, welcome.
Thank you very much, Dr. Lee. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you. What started your journey in the world of health and medicine?
Well, I actually got into medicine by accident. I was finishing my athletic career at the University of Wisconsin, and a counselor was asking me, what are you going to do next? And he made me aware of the opportunity to go to medical school. So that was actually how it all got started.
And then you went from there, you got involved, and did you also go to medical school at the place where you were involved in sports?
Yes, I was at the University of Wisconsin, and what happened was that they were making loans available, and I was able to stay there and do pre-medical training. And I then got into medical school at the University of Wisconsin. And after leaving Wisconsin, I came here to New York and did my training at Harlem Hospital. And it was like taking care of family.
Yeah. Then from Harlem Hospital, you went up to Jacobi Medical Center and you met your wife.
That is correct. That is correct. And I was in infectious diseases at that time.
Yes. Excellent. What is your role today as a medical director of the Division of Disease Control?
Well, today, my role is one of, I am essentially the medical backup for the commissioner. I'm serving as a deputy to the commissioner, and I essentially am working in a clinic where our public health nurses are involved with testing. Initially, it was the COVID testing. We then became involved with the vaccine program. So I was essentially a medical person, the medical person in charge of our vaccination program all over the county. And prior to COVID, I was actually involved with tuberculosis treatment and diagnosis. And we also have a sexually transmitted disease clinic here, and we also have an HIV prevention clinic. So all of those are services that were still available and are ongoing here at our clinics. But we're involved with a lot of education as well, a lot of community outreach, a lot of town halls, trying to inform people and give people very objective, accurate information about COVID and about how they can stay healthy and about the vaccine as well.
Doctor, what information do you have today? You know, a lot of people saying that, you know, you can put your mask away and as long as you took your vaccine. And what information do they have out there today? Because people are like, you know, okay, we're wide open now. We're back to normal.
Well, I think we have to be very cautious, Dr. Lee. What the CDC did, and they announced it last Friday on the 25th, was that they've divided the country or categorized the country into three categories, what they call low risk, medium risk, and high risk. Individuals who reside in areas of low risk or medium risk, which includes our New York area, it has been said that those individuals do not need to wear masks indoors any longer. If a person, however, has a immunocompromised kind of a condition, they, of course, need to continue to protect themselves.
Yeah.
We have to be cognizant of the fact that 70% of people reside in areas which are considered low risk or medium risk, but then the other 30% reside in areas which are still considered high risk. So if you're going to a place like Los Angeles or San Diego or Hillsborough County, Florida, with Tampa is, I think, an example there, they still are high risk. And so if you're going to those areas, you have to take the same precautions. The children who are attending schools in areas that are considered low risk or medium risk can also be relieved of having to wear masks in these settings. The same precautions, however, do have to be observed if you become infected. You still have to wear a mask and you still have to remain isolated for 5 days if you develop the infection.
Are there new variants that are out there that we should be worried about or should watch for?
Well, of course, the Omicron variant was the one that we were most worried about, and it appears that that has passed. There was a variant known as the stealth variant, which we really didn't hear much more about. We were very concerned about it. There will always probably be some variants that will be occurring. But the good news is that the vaccines seem to be very, very effective against all of the variants that we've seen so far.
So what should people be doing today to continue to protect themselves? Because I always talk about the 3 W's. Wear that mask, watch your distance, and wash your hands. Should we still apply that today?
Well, yes, I think in many situations we have to do that. I think if you're going to be in close proximity with large groups of people and you don't normally associate with those people, it's probably still a good idea to wear the masks selectively. I think that we can probably relax things if we're with people that we are with all the time, our family, our close friends, and we know their vaccination status. The categorization that the CDC put together was based largely on the fact that you have areas like New York where you have a high percentage of people who were vaccinated and also a high percentage of people who were recently infected. And so the main people that we're worried about right now are our young children, especially our children under the age of 5. And there's no vaccine yet for them. But our hope is that within the next month or so, the FDA is going to approve the vaccine for those children.
So do you think we're out of the woods now? Sort of, kind of?
I hope we are. I really hope we are, but we have to remain vigilant.
Yeah.
We have to keep our guard up.
Doctor, you spoke about outreach. The outreach program at the Westchester Health Department, does that mean you're out in the neighborhood? You go to schools and community centers and things of that nature?
Well, yes. However, we've been doing most of it virtually. So we've had a lot of virtual town halls, and we have interacted with many, many types of groups, schools, community centers, groups. Sometimes it's been the different towns, for example, Yonkers, New Rochelle, Mount Vernon. Whoever wants to talk about health and preventive health, especially around COVID, we are always open and receptive to speaking with them. That's really part of our mission, part of our goal. I'm proud to say that we actually received a grant from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. And this grant is to promote health literacy, so that we're educating people about their health, certainly centering it on COVID, but educating people about their health so that they can stay healthy and get connected with primary care services.
Well, what are some of the things people can do on maintaining healthy habits, especially during this time, during the pandemic? I'm still thinking that the pandemic is still here.
Excuse me. I think the things that they can do that I'm really keen on is making sure that we are addressing our primary health problems. So a disproportionate percentage of our population, African-American population, suffer from diabetes. We suffer from hypertension. Many of us are a bit overweight. We also have respiratory disorders, and being plugged in with primary care so that we actually are treating and controlling these conditions will put us into a much better position if we ever have another pandemic like this, or even if we are talking about things like the flu. So all of these things, if we can be plugged in to regular medical care, it's going to put us into a better position. Obviously, when we talk about people being overweight, if we are able to look at our diets, and if we're able to look at things like exercise, these are all things that are going to put us into a much better position and protect us in the event that we run into these types of things again.
Yeah. Is the Westchester County Health Department involved in any health fairs that are going to be coming up in the spring and summertime? Well, I know people sometimes you can find out if you have an ailment right on the spot when you're out there in the community?
Oh, that's a good question, Dr. Lee. We regularly did this before the pandemic. I think that now that things are coming under control, that is going to be one of the things that we're going to be doing again. So we have done things like blood pressure screening and other types of screenings. I believe that's something that the commissioner probably is going to want us to start doing again. And we're happy to do that for community organizations, whether it's churches or other groups. We're always very happy to set those things up.
Doctor, thank you so much. We appreciate all that you're doing in our community. Give us a website where we can go to get more.
Thank you for having us. You can go to the Westchester County Department of Health website. I believe it's www.westchestergov.com, and you will find a lot of information on health at that site.
Dr. Dial Hewlett Jr. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Lee, for having me.
All right, that's about it. It's a wrap. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for checking it all out. Always remember this: what you are is God's gift to you, and what you make of yourself is your gift to God. To choose your choice, let your choice control the chooser. For all of us here at BronxNet, have a great and enjoyable day, and I'll see you over 107.5 WVLS later on.